Asheville, nestled in the Blue Ridge Mountains, is a gateway for adventure. North Carolina is a state that has both beaches and mountains. Maybe that's why so many Californians are moving here. Our theme for the last few months has been getting back to nature. And no better place to do that than in western North Carolina, floating down the French Broad River. In this video, you will see many things you have heard of, like the Blue Ridge Parkway, the Appalachian Trail, the Biltmore Estate. But we will show you many areas you may not be aware of, like Marshall, Hot Springs, Little Switzerland, a couple of waterfalls. Asheville is not only popular for its nature, but also its art, music, architecture, and beer. It is big enough to have good services in entertainment, yet it still has a small town atmosphere with under 100,000 in population. While we are going to focus largely on the tourist activities, what to do in Asheville, we are also going to show you a couple of communities. Asheville has been popular for retirees, but now the dominant group moving in are 20 to 34-year-old millennials and young families. With UNC Asheville and Western Carolina University, as well as an area conducive to the active lifestyle, it is popular for college-age people. Asheville city limits has actually seen its growth slow a little in the last couple of years. However, its four-county region is experiencing a robust growth, especially in Waynesville and Maggie Valley, where you can get more home for the money, yet still be 20 to 30 minutes from Asheville. Now, if you have the big bucks, you can move to the Biltmore Forest. Wow. How would you like to live there? Oh, and there's a tropical smoothie in Asheville, a plus for any city. So no matter what your reason is for coming to Asheville, maybe to visit, to live, to hear some live music, or maybe just to drink beer, I think you will enjoy our journey. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride as we show you a land of soaring peaks, lush green valleys, rushing streams, by drone, by car, by bike, and by helicopter. Asheville and the Blue Ridge Mountains. Adventure is calling. We start our journey 53 miles northeast of Asheville at Route 226 at Gillespie Gap. After 3 miles, we enter the village of Little Switzerland, which features Emerald Village, where you can go on an underground mine tour and pan for gold and minerals. On Saturday evenings in July and August, you can enjoy mountain music and square dancing at Geneva Hall. These quaint A-frame cabins can hold 5 guests, 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, and are generally around $250 a night with taxes and fees. You get access to the resort amenities like the chalet restaurant. Another 5 miles down the Parkway, we come to Crabtree Falls. If you put Crabtree Falls in your GPS, it will probably bring you to the city of Crabtree Falls, which is nowhere near the actual falls. The falls are just off of mile marker 339.5 on the Blue Ridge Parkway. You have to hike or bike the 1.5 miles from the trailhead, and really most of it might be difficult to bike, with 3 sets of stairways along the way, and very rocky sometimes, wet path. But it is worth the hike. As well as driving the Blue Ridge Parkway, you can view it by helicopter. We recommend Smoky Mountain helicopters, which you can find in Cherokee, North Carolina. For filming, we recommend Sky Shots helicopters out of Salem, Virginia. Here we use the Simeflex V14. The same camera used on Aerial America. The Blue Ridge Parkway is America's longest linear park. It runs for 469 miles from near Charlottesville, Virginia, Shenandoah National Park to the Great Smoky Mountains National Park near Cherokee, North Carolina. It has been the most visited unit of the National Park Service for every year since 1946, with the exception of 4 years. If traveling during late fall to early spring, be advised that many of the tunnels are often closed due to weather. Now back in the Asheville Metro, let's journey up the French Broad River. A great way to begin your day of adventure is having a vanilla latte from High Five Coffee, right on the river in Woodfin. Open from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., a good stop as you float down the river. If traveling by car, it's easy to miss. It is behind the Attic Salt Theater Company, a warehouse-looking building. A half-mile up the river, Woodfin Riverside Park. Woodfin is one of those ideal communities around Asheville that people are choosing to call home. This, the Riverwalk community. Beautiful middle-class homes on a hill, with views of the river and the Blue Ridge Mountains. Asheville is adjacent to 8 national and state parks, 200 waterfalls, and 4 rivers. Due to its elevation, the humidity in Asheville is milder than the rest of North Carolina. The weather allows for 4 seasons and is temperate. There are 15 wineries within 50 miles of Asheville. French Broad Outfitters offers tours, rentals of kayaks, canoes, tubes, stand-up paddle boards, with shuttles available to pick you up or drop you off. Zen Tubing has group rates for church, school, or corporate groups, and facilities with picnic tables, grills to host birthday parties or special events. Did you know that several movies were at least partially filmed in the Asheville area? Last of the Mohicans, The Fugitive, Hannibal, Patch Adams, Forrest Gump, and Dirty Dancing. Across the river, the New Belgium Brewery, one of many Asheville breweries that you can take a tour of. Asheville is also famous for its paddleboarding, and the best way to do that is to take a tour with Waimana Paddleboat Tours. The River Arts District is an area of former industrial buildings, converted to art studios, galleries of hundreds of artists. We now move across the river to take a bike ride on the French Broad River Greenway, which goes through the French Broad River Park to Carrier Park. This is part of a major urban waterfront development plan. Across the street from the Greenway is Upstream Way Luxury Vacation Rentals, if you are looking for an extended stay in Asheville with a family or a group. Asheville is heaven for the outdoor enthusiasts, with wilderness hiking, bike trails, river kayaking, tubing, fly fishing, and several zipline experiences. Next door to Carrier Park is the Asheville Outdoor Center, as well as rentals for tandem kayaks, canoes, rafts. They have a large facility to host events, with a shaded pavilion, grills, a musical stage. You can play cornhole, basketball, volleyball, ping pong, and even go mining for gems. Next door to Asheville Outdoor Center is Wilson's RV Park, right on the river. Now head 3 miles north to the Adventure Center of Asheville, a group of multiple adventure parks where there is fun for the serious thrill seeker as well as kids. First Colo Bike Park, with 4 miles of purpose-built trails on a rolling terrain. Next door is Treetops Adventure Park, a challenge course in the trees, with over 77 unique climbing, rolling, walking, jumping, swinging, ziplining, and rappelling challenges anchored to over 30 trees and towering posts, tucked into a wooden park. I wish they had stuff like this when I was a kid. All I had was the Marine Corps obstacle course with someone yelling at you all the time. There are 113 buildings in Asheville that are listed on the National Registry of Historic Places. Downtown, known for its southern hospitality with arts, craft, music, festivals, shopping, and dining, like the Posanna Restaurant or the Mellow Mushroom. Off the Wagon Dueling Piano Bar. We take Patton Avenue as we head towards Pack Square Park. The neo-Gothic Jackson Building was North Carolina's tallest building at 140 feet when it opened in 1924. Pack Square Park, with a large pavilion for events and concerts. The neoclassical revival Buncombe Courthouse Building opened in 1928. In the same year, the City Hall, an eclectic Art Deco masterpiece, was completed. If you love art and history, walk the Asheville Urban Trail, a 1.7-mile walking tour through the streets of downtown. Asheville known for live musicians like Tommy Kaye and the Kush. We had lost a bag on the road while we were shooting, and Tommy Kaye and his friend Richard Kingston called us to let us know, and we were able to get it back. Typical of the good, honest people who call Asheville home. The Biltmore Estate is the largest privately owned house in America at 175,000 square feet. That's 4 acres for just the house. It boasts 33 bedrooms, 43 bathrooms, 65 fireplaces, 250 rooms total. Besides the house, there is also the Biltmore Gardens, the Antler Hill Village and Winery, more than 20 miles of hiking and biking trails. You can also go kayaking, rafting, and horseback riding. You certainly may need more than a day to really experience the Biltmore Estate. See Biltmore.com for more info. We are now going to head north outside of Asheville and get back into the rural part of western North Carolina. The historic town of Marshall is 20 miles north of Asheville, situated between the French Broad River and the Rocky Cliffs amidst lush green valleys. Main Street Marshall has great coffee, homemade desserts, excellent food, and live music. A great place if you want to experience small-town America. See romanticasheville.com/Marshall. On this part of the French Broad River, it's not just floating down the river, but it's time to have some real fun at French Broad Adventures, located in Marshall, which has something for the serious adrenaline junkie, with whitewater rafting, ziplining, waterfall climbing. The Appalachian Trail, one of the longest marked trails in the world at 2,185 miles. It travels from Georgia to Maine, going through 14 states. Hot Springs is at mile marker 273, north of the south end of the trail, and the only town on the trail that passes directly through town in North Carolina. As a result, Hot Springs is popular for the full trail hikers to spend a day or two in town to do laundry, eat a good meal. Hot Springs is named for its warm mineral springs. It is surrounded by the Pisgah National Forest. As well as hiking, Hot Springs is popular for whitewater rafting, mountain biking, horseback riding, or just soaking in the mineral water at the Hot Springs Resort and Spa. For info, see romanticasheville.com/hot_springs. As we head back to Asheville for our Blue Ridge Mountain sunset, we are going to take Old Marshall Road, which runs right along the river. There are a few good riverside parks along this scenic drive. This is Alexander River Park, excellent for watching the sunset due to the direction of the river. The daily struggles, the news, the city life can sometimes get your mind to focus on all the negatives and blow them out of proportion. Nature might be calling you to spend some time in the Blue Ridge Mountains, to challenge yourself with some of the adventures of this region. Meet the friendly mountain people of western North Carolina, and you just might gain a whole new perspective of life. There is something about the Blue Ridge Mountains that can clear your mind. If looking for a place to stay, this Ramada Inn on River Ford Road was great. It is in a new community. The rates were very reasonable. Highly recommend it. Coming up next, we are going to the other side of the mountains, to Tennessee, Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge, Knoxville. We are Tampa Aerial Media. We shoot travel promos across the USA. For licensing or stock footage, contact us at info@tampaaerialmedia.com. Thank you for watching Asheville and the Blue Ridge Mountains. Adventure is calling.